Hey everybody, how's it going?
Good evening.
I'm back.
Yeah, you were out last week. We had the 8-bit Duke in here, and we were going over the jailbroken NT Mini firmware, which at the time did not have alternate consoles in it, but we played a bunch of Famicom and NES games launched off the SD card.
Mm-hmm.
And but now he released on Friday. He said 1 week. He's trying to release 1 week. Well, it was exactly 1 week later he released a core that has Master System, SG-1000, Game Gear, and ColecoVision.
That's pretty
So
crazy. Is that all on one core?
that's all in one core. Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, apparently they all use like the same processor, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, or basically the same processor. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Um, I was playing some Fantasy Star with the FM sound
Oh,
activated.
so it does have FM sound built in.
Yeah, but that FM sound just
It's
it don't do it.
yeah, it doesn't do anything for me either. I mean, we talked about this earlier tonight about how if unless you like, I don't know,
I
if you like grew up with the
love
system, I don't think you would really like it very much at all. Like I just don't.
I mean, I didn't grow up with the system. I mean,
True.
granted, I was playing Fantasy Star, which is a game that I played through on Virtual Console.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's not like I've got some, long-standing connection to the game over my whole life, and it's still that FM sound. Like it just makes the music just sounds. Bleh.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no like to it,
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I don't know. I love though that what you call it, PSG sound. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
The Fancy Star title screen music is just
The whole
makes you want.
soundtrack is great.
Yeah, but
And
I mean that title screen just makes you like want to go on a space adventure.
yeah, and the FM stuff sound makes it just kind of sound a little jazzy and like doesn't really fit the game at all.
No, I don't like it. Don't like it. But anyway, but that
But
option
it's
is there
cool.
for
It's
people
cool.
who
It
do
works.
like it. It does work. Yeah, it's crazy. It's awesome.
People in
But
the
yeah,
chat, you have
that
to tell me that if the audio levels are like out of whack because I'm pretty sure my son like ran his hands over it at some point in the last couple of days.
um, I've got the first draft finally. I mean, it took so long to get the script written. I mean, between having to do things for work and just it being a very difficult script for me to write, I think it just took a lot longer than usual for me to write the script for the NT Mini episode. It was tough, and it's not going to be short either. It's going to be I'm guessing over 25 minutes probably.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could say it would be shorter for my own sake. But I think production on this will go pretty quick. I don't think it's going to be difficult to capture stuff and integrate it, just quickly as I go. So yeah. So it will. It's not. By the way, we kind of decided this past week that we're not really going to specifically target Fridays or weekends anymore for episode releases. Like our goal is just because I don't think that really matters. Like when we release an episode, our goal, is still, at least 2 episodes a month, like
Right.
proper episodes a month. But we're just, if we finish it Monday or Tuesday, we'll finish it Monday or Tuesday. So, but that's
Well, we're working it out so that I'm going to be working on something too at the same time.
mhm,
So if he doesn't finish, then we'll still have something.
mhm, mhm.
It won't be an RGB episode, but it will be something else.
Yeah. But the NT Mini, we're going to consider that an RGB episode. So that'll probably release in, I'm hoping, less than 2 weeks. It'll take me to put that together. I'm hoping, it's not going to be this week. It's not going to be next weekend, but sometime the week after is my goal.
Right.
I've seen some people saying that the stream's lagging for them, but I'm assuming it's probably just YouTube thing. I mean,
I've heard of people were having issues with YouTube earlier today with certain videos not playing. I'm not showing any drop frames on my end.
Yeah,
so
I'm actually viewing in HD right now, which is unusual for me. It looks smooth. At least your camera looks smooth. But also I'm not quite the live point either, but it looks smooth where I'm viewing it at. But anyway,
I saw some people talking about the new OSSC firmware.
Yeah,
that I was messing around with before. Yeah, if later on in the stream, depending on how it goes with the game, I'll see if I can mess around with it on my end. When I've been changing resolutions, it's been crashing OBS, so I'm not sure how well it will go. But maybe I'll try out the. I couldn't get the line 5x. What did that be? Line quintuple? Would that be right?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
But it does it within a 1080p frame.
Right.
You couldn't get that to work with your capture card.
Right, because my capture card only supports up to 1080i.
Ah, right.
But I can get the 4x to.
I thought you saw the 5x on some screen though.
No, I haven't seen it in anything.
Oh, you haven't been able to see it at all.
No,
okay.
it shows up. It shows up going through into my capture card as 1080p, but it doesn't show anything. It recognizes it as 1080p, but nothing shows up in the capture window. But the 4x, the 960p, works great and like instantaneously, and it works with the NES. Like I had to mess with some settings and stuff, and I got NES and Super NES working great.
Douglas Gulick in the chat says, I just ordered the new Acura HDMI Dreamcast box.
Oh, that's the HDMI one. Yeah. Okay,
yeah, how much is that one? I didn't really look that closely.
I don't know. I didn't. The announcement happened when I was on vacation, so I didn't really look into it too much.
Yeah.
They're also doing a
consoleized Game Gear.
I know, which I want.
Yeah.
I thought it was 190, but it turns out I think it's 290. I think, which is just a little bit too much. But if it was 190, I would be all over it. And it's badass looking.
Yeah.
It's you put the cartridge in the front. It's almost like NES style.
Yeah, I do want one, but I don't know if I can do 290 for Game Gear.
Yeah.
I still don't even know for sure what games I would play on Game Gear.
I have a handful of games that I've just gotten from Goodwill over the last couple of years that I would like to play. But I'm definitely interested in the Acura. When it's time to do Dreamcast,
Yeah, that would
obviously
be
a highlight.
They're saying it's $85 shipping included. So I think that's less than the Toro. I believe that was $90. I can't remember if shipping was included or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, Christopher, that is the Bihar Bros.
Yeah, I don't know. Bihar Bros.
They are. They make all of the crazy, awesome Dreamcast VGA boxes like the Acura that they're talking about. But I don't think that the Game Gear is on their website right now. They just released a video or something for it, right? Yeah.
And they had some information in the comments for that. But that was also, I sent that to you, I think, when I was still on vacation, too. So I don't really look into it too much. But it's in this a kind of a plexiglass enclosure.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It has Genesis controller ports.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's something. I wonder if the Master Gear would work on it. That's the adapter to play Master System games on the Game Gear.
Adam Zay is saying that the Acura doesn't quite sample at the same resolution as the Dreamcast output. So I'm not sure exactly what the issue there would be. Would it create a bit of a judder here and there, perhaps? Little frame skip, maybe?
Yeah. It'll be interesting when it's released. I'm gonna go home. Go ahead. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go ahead and start the game.
Yeah. So you're gonna be playing. I need to edit the stream title.
I should have fixed it. It should be correct.
Really, it didn't show up that way for me, but oops, I may have just screwed it up then because now it says your changes are saved. What did you just say? Wild Guns Reloaded?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you beat this already.
Yeah, I actually did 3-player co-op of it, and it was great. The interesting thing about co-op mode is that there are no continues. So it was challenging. And you share lives.
Really? So you got to be pretty good at it.
Yeah, it's not easy. In single player mode, I believe you have infinite continues, but to get trophies, to get like most of the trophies, I think you have to beat it without using continues. I think.
Did you beat it on easy?
There's no difficulty selection on multiplayer, as far as I recall.
So I'm not very good at it. I barely played it, and I have not played the Super NES one very much.
Oh, have you not beaten the Super Nintendo version on Virtual Console? Okay, I played on Virtual Console. But I mean, this game really is like, I mean, it is a replacement, I would say, for the Super Nintendo game.
Really?
It's pretty much a straight upgrade. I mean, yeah, there are some tweaks and stuff, but and you've got the widescreen, but you've got the 2 extra characters. I mean, it's overall fairly faithful to the original, and it definitely makes me feel like I don't need the I don't feel that gnawing at my soul that I no longer have oh, you're gonna be Blue Annie. That's the way to be.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I was just being blue because it's kind of like our color.
Yeah, but on the backlogger we just like have a joke about like blue, like you always play better with Blue Annie. Like it's just, you're having a hard time with the game, switch to Blue Annie and everything's gonna be better. But actually the 2 new characters play Clint and Annie play the same as they do in the original game. Now, something I didn't know, and I believe this applies to the original version of the game, but you actually get a score multiplier with Clint and Annie when you start shooting people while not moving. So the longer your combo goes without moving your character, then you'll notice above the enemy heads when you defeat them, it'll show your score and it'll say 2x and then 3x and 4x and 5x. I think it can go up to 9x.
Really?
And yeah, and for like I said, multiplayer mode, no continues, that like racking up the score like that to get those extra lives, like that was critical strategy doing the
I'm gonna die and I'm gonna have to continue like immediately here. It's okay though. I'm still getting like a feel for it.
Yeah, so with Clint and Annie, you have to not move. But I mean, obviously, dodging is more important than keeping a high score. But
right.
It does let you get more lives. And with the
That's
2 new
so if I just like don't move, or okay, there we go, 2x, 3x.
Mm-hmm. And apparently it works that way in the original, but I never noticed that. I never realized it. Now, the 2 new characters, the dog, his name's Bullet.
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of crazy. Like he moves independently of the thing that the little drone that shoots. And he can kind of lock on to other enemies. And I'm not sure how his score multiplier works. I can't remember if we figured that out or not. I assume that he has one, but I can't remember if we figured that out. But anyway, he's good, but definitely a little weird. Doris, though, I think is my favorite now. She's like really awesome.
She's on the grenade with grenades, right?
Yeah, she's got grenades, and you hold the shoot button, and you just charge up those grenades, and you can fire like, I forget, it's like 7 or 8 or 9 grenades at once if you hold the button long enough. And when enemies die, you get a score multiplier based on how many grenades you threw. So it's actually the easiest to get the high score multiplier with Doris.
Oh, wow.
And it's really fun to, like, during a boss intro, for example, you can just like get max grenades while you're waiting, and then as soon as they're vulnerable, just throw them all. The other fun thing about Doris that we didn't realize until after we've been playing for several hours, actually, her dodge, if you don't let go of the button, she just keeps going.
Really?
Yeah, she just dashes the entire way across the screen. She walks a little slower than the other characters, but she just dashes all the way across the screen, and it's glorious.
That's cool. I mean, it's. I think I told you about how this was like the same people who made it originally.
Yeah.
Like they did it kind of as their like a side project. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and which apparently the original was kind of developed that way too.
Which is awesome, It's just it's so cool that they were able to find the time to do it.
They wanted to do it, Yeah, this is an amazing game, and I think. Like I say, I don't really feel like this disappointment anymore of not having the Super Nintendo version.
But no, it's not like you would turn it down though if you.
I mean, if someone was going to sell it to me for like grossly under the going price, then like sure, I wouldn't say no. But, I definitely am not going to go out of my way.
And this is pretty unique because they like really went all in on the Super NES style with this.
Yeah, and there's a few things that that are kind of like, I think there's some like lighting effects that have more of a gradient glow. There's a new level. Actually, I think there might be 2 new levels. One of them we didn't like. I think when you're playing single player mode, like the level selection is a little bit randomized. But in multiplayer, it was based on how many characters you have, and the level we played was it was kind of like sort of a horror level. And it's interesting because they have this dither-based sort of lighting effect going on, and it's like, well, I wonder why they did that when, that's more of a Genesis thing than Super Nintendo.
All right. So after the first stage, you get to select where you're going to go next, right?
Right. And,
is there any particular order that you would suggest?
Well, you're still fighting the boss on my screen. What levels do you have?
Armored Train, Desolation Canyon, Ammunition Depot, and Gold Mine. Is it random?
I think for single player, it is random. There is 1 or 2, maybe only 1 extra level. which I think the levels you've got are all old levels. I would say the train is probably the second easiest after the first level.
The train?
Yeah, probably. Desolation Canyon was actually the level that we didn't play in our run, because for some reason 3 players, like, we got Desolation Canyon as one of the options when we briefly did a little bit of 2-player, but with 3 players, Desolation Canyon is replaced by the horror level. But someone said that on single player the selection is random.
I think I read something about how, like, hard difficulty level, like, adds a couple of new levels or something like that. Like, I don't know how it goes. I never beat the original, so. Well, that went quick.
It's not too tough of a level. At first, multiplayer was like really chaotic, but we definitely got used to it. We ended up being 2 Dorises and 1 bullet. Was kind of what we settled into. We put bullet in the middle and the Dorises on the side. we had some strategy to our placement.
And you're completely invincible when you dodge, right?
I think that's right. Well, maybe. I mean, like I say, Doris, like, she just slides all the way across the screen, and you are vulnerable during that. But I think Clint and Annie, are invulnerable while dodging.
I was saying, hopefully I'll be able to finish this tonight, because I'm on a kind of a roll with finishing games.
Yeah.
We were joking around about how I've just, like, spent so much time, like, screwing with my setup for so long that I have not been, like, just, like, playing games. So I've made a decision to just stop messing around with stuff and just finish games. This person is, like, dancing around on the train. It's kind of fun. Oh. Okay. I mean, in the last week, I guess I finished Final Fantasy 15, then Soldner X2, then I finished Zeo Drifter. Oh, wait, hang on. Someone just, we got our first super chat first.
Oh, is that super chat?
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's how it works?
Yeah, I mean, I enabled it. I didn't really know what to expect out of it.
Oh wow! Well, there we go. There's $2.
Well, thank you.
I don't think we'll be living up to the recommendation there, but thank you.
I'm glad that was our first ever. Oh, geez. Okay, so that's what happens. Like, after you get the 5x multiplier, now I'm just like, my bullets are really strong. It's kind of awesome when you get that.
Oh, you that wasn't it. You filled the green meter at the bottom of the screen.
Oh,
that's the Vulcan cannon, and you're completely invincible. As long as while you have that, I think I'm a bit lagged behind, but I think the meter drains.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even see the green meter. There we go.
By the way, for the people asking about multiplayer, I believe it's local only multiplayer. I don't think it has online multiplayer.
No, it's local only.
Yeah.
Really quick, we should probably talk about what our stream is going to be next week.
Oh yeah. So
We have a little something different for next week.
yeah, it's going to be interesting. So I don't know if anyone is familiar with Two Player Productions. They made they're kind of like an in-house video team at Double Fine, which is, the company that, makes a lot of adventure games and stuff, like Tim Schafer and whatnot. They're like, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're like the in-house video crew there, right?
Yeah. I don't know if they always were.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
But yeah, so anyway, they are trying to get their documentary. They've got this, full-blown documentary. They're trying to get available on Netflix. And there's like this submission system for content that you want on Netflix. And so they're trying to kind of create a lot of buzz with this, and they've got I think 8 boxed copies of Broken Age, and they are just partnering with various people to do giveaways, and we're one of the people that they asked if we would help with giveaways for that, to help spread the word, to get people to tell Netflix, I want to see the Double Fine adventure documentary on Netflix. So we're going to be joined by some of the Two Player Productions crew, and they're going to be playing some games, and we're going to be playing some games, and we're going to have a little giveaway.
Yeah.
So
maybe multiple giveaways.
You can
one major giveaway, maybe some
minor things.
Yeah. We're just gonna be playing some random stuff. They're saying how they wanted to just kind of do stuff that people wouldn't typically see on their own stream.
Yeah, so they're going to try. They've got their stream audience, and we've got our stream audience. So they kind of were hoping, maybe we could sort of, talk about, some of some of the technical topics that we like to talk about, and maybe show their audience some things that they don't typically see, and maybe vice versa. So it'll kind of be a blending of communities, perhaps. Oh man, we just got $2 from Tim's stuff. Who has a delightful King of Hyrule avatar, and it says "Try sounds just like Tom Hanks." I saw someone at MagFest cosplaying as the CDI King of Hyrule, and I thought it was pretty great. It was like obviously like kind of an inexpensive costume. Like it was like not using. It was just using like very plain colored cloth, but it like fit like the character like so perfectly. I thought it was great. Holy crap! The importer just gave us $5.
That's crazy.
Wow.
The super chat.
Super chat.
Indeed. Jeez, I'm just like.
Oh,
it's pretty hard to tell where you're gonna where the bullets are coming from sometimes. Like you gotta watch like the shadows and stuff for like missiles. It's easy to. I guess it's just easy to. I gotta stay moving.
Yeah. So so I see how it's working. It's got like at the top of the chat, it's got like his name. Oh, it's $5 Canadian. That's interesting. So it actually like says like the unit of currency, and then it's got like this. It looks like an RPG cooldown meter, and it's like inching over, and I guess it'll disappear after a little bit.
Importer was just.
So wait, what's fancy talking? Can you fancy talk that when you have that meter up there?
How does it work? Oh, jeez. Man, it's like game over like crazy.
The thing you have to be careful of, I mean, I don't really have any particular advice for this level other than like for the boss, like just be very careful because he can like come in like from the sides.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I made it to him
on your
already.
plane.
He's a small guy, right? He's not like a big.
Yeah, he's not a big boss. No.
Yeah, I'm just gonna feel for it still. I'm sure that once you kind of get amazing at this game, you just like know what's going on. Like I feel like the wider playing field is making it a bit tougher.
Chris Theron, I am not playing presently.
He'd be doing a lot better than I am. He was.
Well, I mean, I played through the game just a few weeks ago, but it was in multiplayer though. Single players, I'm sure, a bit of a different matter. But
So the different guns, are those new to this version too?
some of them are and some of them aren't. There were a few, but some were like that laser was not in the original. There's I would say 2 or 3.
The laser kind of feels like it's the worst one.
It's interesting because it lags behind, but I assume it's pretty powerful. Do you know how to fill the green meter, by the way?
No.
You actually do it by shooting bullets.
Oh, really? I didn't know you could shoot enemy bullets.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you're doing it without realizing it. But when your character says "look out," like you definitely know for sure like there's a bullet heading straight toward you. So you can either shoot it down or you can
That's weird.
dodge.
I mean, yeah, I feel like
You're doing it, you're just not realizing you are.
right.
It's a little tough to do intentionally. In multiplayer, it like I don't even know why the meter existed because it like filled much slower. I don't know if it actually fills slower or if it just fills. I think it's a combination of filling slower and it just you're not really getting it because of just more. The enemy hits are more spread out across multiple players.
It's maybe I'm just having a hard time with it. I don't know. It's just me.
Hard time with what? The game?
Yeah, I seem to be getting hit by stuff I don't even see it coming.
It's not an easy game. It's not an easy game.
I'll try. I'm gonna try this level one more time. I feel like I just need to get into a groove.
I think you'll find it. We were definitely pretty overwhelmed when we started playing our multiplayer run.
I'll try a different character.
Oh, try Doris. Doris is fantastic.
I've already picked Clint.
Oh, Clint, I believe plays. I don't think there's any difference between Clint and Annie.
That's what I kind of assumed.
Doris and Bullet are very different, though. There's a little talk in the chat about, Natsume being the publisher. They've done a few interesting things lately. They did, in terms of like how they're doing physical releases, it's a little different how they're handling it.
Yeah, but I'm pretty happy that they're doing what they're doing, just in general.
I'm glad they're doing something. It's been a little strange how the Amazon stores handled it, though.
Yeah.
They did for 3DS they did River City Tokyo Rumble, which was sold through the Natsume store on Amazon, but you couldn't pre-order it. I think it was fulfilled by Amazon, but you couldn't pre-order it, and it only appeared like the day it was available. So they did that on Amazon, and then they also did the same thing with this while Guns Reloaded. During a stream, I think it was, someone said something about pre-orders are available on PlayAsia now. and I was like kind of afraid of, well, what if, what if I can't get it on Amazon or something? I really wanted this, so I did that.
Come on.
And I didn't really want to. I didn't want to cancel my pre-order, so even though it was easily, I could have easily gotten it on Amazon. So I had to wait a while for for it to come through on because it had to ship. I got the American version, but it had to ship from PlayAsia, so it was kind of a little odd that I had to wait for it to ship here. And holy crap, we just got $20 super chat from BF Briggs.
Thank you.
And we get 5 hearts.
So, for that, if BF Briggs has something else that they want me to play, if they say change the game, I'll play whatever game I have, if I have
whatever game you have.
Yeah.
Just
as long as it doesn't suck.
What what was this? Some people were talking about some fancy talking. Can you do some what does fancy talking mean? Do you get to do fancy talking when you do the super chat?
I don't know.
What's fancy? I don't know what fancy talking means.
Yeah, like what is it?
Oh, BF Briggs says I love this game, so maybe he wants you to keep playing. I don't know.
Well, if you don't mind, lots of game overs. I'll try a different level. I'm gonna try a different level.
I would say, was it? I think Calamity Canyon. I don't think it's too hard. You should try Doors. Before you quit playing this game, you need to try Doors.
Oh, of course I will.
I think Doors is a game changer.
Is it Calamity Canyon or is it Desolation Canyon?
Whatever it's called, the one with the skull on the level select.
Maybe I need something that's not so distracting. Like a level that's not so distracting.
You can put some text with your super chat, and then that shows up in the big colorful box under your donation. That's what we're calling fancy talk.
Interesting. Yeah, I can already tell this feels like a little bit easier. This level does.
Chris Jensen says, I love having this on in the background while feeding CNC machines at work. I'm not sure what CNC machine stands for.
Me either. Ah, come on.
Does YouTube take a cut of Super Chat? I don't know.
Yeah,
this is the first time we've got it, so I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we know nothing about it. Super Chat.
I love how this level has like this like spaceport way off in the distance, and the two moons.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the moon and the sun. I'm not really sure what's going on there.
Jeez. Oh. I just got the invincibility when I was fighting the boss there.
Oh, yeah, that's always nice. I remember when I was, working on beating the Super Nintendo version on Virtual Console, there could be a bit of strategy to, trying to save your Vulcan cannon so that you'll, like, get it while you're on the boss, for example.
Oh, okay. I feel like I should be able to beat this today. If I can beat Assault Suit Lanos on stream, I think I can beat this.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
You do not have to pay to get noticed. I'm noticing you right now.
So yeah, next week will be really interesting, especially if you're a big fan of Broken Age.
And they're going to play games. Coury's going to play games. It's going to be a lot going on.
Yeah. Hopefully not too cluttered. I'm kind of worried.
You'll need to figure out a layout.
Yeah.
Apparently, a YouTube rep declined to reveal the split for Super Chat, but said creators keep the vast majority of revenue.
Well.
Why is this only on PS4, non-Nintendo system, or even Xbox One? I think it ought to be on. I think it ought to be on. It'd be nice for it to be on Nintendo system because.
Yeah.
You're
pretty big on that kind of stuff where,
yeah, like
certain games feel like they should be on.
Yeah, like, I like to play WayForwards games on Nintendo systems. So that's just they feel right at home there,
Right.
So it would have been cool to have like a Switch version of this, but that's okay. I guess this is a very small production, and like we said earlier, supposedly they made this sort of in spare time. It's the original people behind the original version of the game, so maybe they just didn't have the budget to support extra systems, but maybe if it does well, they'll make some ports.
Do you think it's better to dodge than to do like a double jump?
It probably depends on the situation, but
I feel like I might be able to
avoid
stuff easier if I'm just jumping.
Which is working better for you.
Yeah. Whoa.
Nerdy Guitar Vlog says you don't always have to roll. Sometimes it's quicker and easier to just stop firing and then walk out of the way.
Yeah.
I never really thought of that. I think I'm usually all about dodging, but I love with Doris you don't have that like sore stop when you hit the ground after your dodge. You just keep going. You can get way out of the way.
I'm a big fan of double jump mechanics.
What's crazy is I like somehow went through the 8-bit generation and 16-bit generation, and maybe the 32-bit, 64-bit generation without encountering double jump.
Really?
Yeah, I forget what my first one was. But I just like distinctly remember, like when I was like,
I do it. I did it.
I don't think it was nice. I don't think it was Circle of the Moon on GBA. I just wasn't playing the right games with it. But I just remember I don't remember what my first game was. I don't remember when it was, but it was definitely late 90s, early 2000s was the first time I ever encountered like the traditional style of double jump. And I just wasn't playing the right games, I guess, because I remember I guess like not. I don't remember.
I don't remember the first time I ever encountered it, but I always think of like Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Whereas as a time where it was like a major part of the
I don't remember
gameplay.
For sure when I got that. If I got that like more in college or if I got that before then. But I definitely remember whatever game it was I was playing. I just definitely remember thinking, this is an interesting mechanic. Little did I know that it was just in a bunch of games I wasn't playing.
So how do I juggle those bags of money? How many times you got to shoot them or do you just get more money the longer you keep it in the air?
I think that's it. Yeah, more points. This level's not too bad, especially the first area.
Yeah. Starting to feel like the first level you told me to play is probably the absolute worst for me.
Yeah, well, I feel like in multiplayer we didn't have too much trouble with it. But...
And you have to beat the game on hard without continuing, I think, to unlock the classic soundtrack. I think that's what I read. Do that one again. So there's these 4 levels, and is there like a final level after this? Is that how it goes?
Yeah, there's one more level after you finish the selection. Do a video on the retro receiver for Super Nintendo. Like we both got it.
Well,
like,
probably if we do another controller adapters episode, we'll probably do it in there.
we would include it. Like I just feel like there's not like enough different about it to really dedicate a whole episode to it.
Right.
Something that I do think we need to do is we need to do a follow-up to the N64 analog stick episode eventually.
Right.
Because there are a few options that seem to be worth looking into. There's like the Steel Stick 64, which I haven't looked into.
But don't we have those?
We don't have those, but we've got these boards from a guy called Micro, and I just haven't like I haven't looked into how we're going to go about getting them installed, what kind of stick you install it with. Like you can use the because I was talking to the guy very briefly on email, and he said that he was kind of a little sad about how it turned out because his board gives like the bad sticks, the ones we looked at that don't give you the full range of movement. He was a little sad because it increased sales of his board, increased sales of those sticks. And he kind of didn't want that to happen. And I said, well, then what is your intended use for them? Like, what other sticks can you use it with? That and he never got back to me on that question. So maybe I'll try contacting him again sometime because I'd be curious like what all the possibilities are. I know it's been a while since then, and we've got the boards, but we just haven't done anything with them. It's been a little while since then, and I can't. I don't know if this has happened. He was going. I think he was just doing one more run of those, and then he was going to release like the information as open source. I think. Now, I'm not sure if that's happened yet. So, but it could be interesting.
So, a question about when we're gonna do our CRT geometry episode. It's coming. It's coming. It's we really want to work with a person like a tech who has like spent a lot of time doing it because it's such a thing that we don't want to put wrong information out there. And I think that's something I'm deathly afraid of. And I think it's important to realize that there's not going to be some
it's not going to be
catch-all.
perfect. You have to accept that it's not going to be. You're never going to get perfect. There's always going to be a little something.
Yeah, I mean that's just the way it is because every TV is going to be different, even a different version of the same model.
Right, and don't necessarily expect that video is going to reveal the secret code for your Magnavox TV to access the service menu because I mean, each manufacturer or each model, I mean, how you actually get into the service menu and what options are there can vary, but you can find the information on how to enter the service menu. But we'll probably have a general list of the things you can do. I would assume from model to model is pretty similar. The options. But yeah, but we really want to do it right and make sure that someone who's got a ton of experience is helping us out with that.
Yeah. The person I was talking to a while back, who I haven't talked to since, because I really want to find somebody local, but I don't think it's going to happen, was that guy Savon Pat. He did a podcast with Bob from Retro RGB. He's a retired tech in LA.
There's a question about if we've run across any issues with ultra low latency. I'll admit I haven't used ultra low latency a ton, because it makes it a little more difficult for recording with the FrameMeister. But
whoa, what is this? That jumping ground pound?
Yeah, that I never really figured out the purpose of that. Like, it seems to me more inefficient than just doing like a melee punch. I'm not quite sure what the purpose of that is.
Well, it helps you get out of the way, I think, better.
Like, do you see how you can just like slide across the screen indefinitely?
Yeah, I mean,
awesome.
It definitely feels like she's a lot more powerful than anybody else.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome. But with GBI ULL, supposedly, like over a period of time, and apparently it varies by display. And we made a note of this in the episode. We've not observed it ourselves, but apparently it can have like this weird refresh line that just slowly drifts down the screen. The might manifest after like an hour or something, or maybe less. It just depends. So ULL, I mean, there is no perfect version of GBI. They all have sort of sacrifices to compensate for the fact that you're not playing it on a real Game Boy Advance screen, and even the official Nintendo things have those compromises, right? I mean, they have to account for the fact it's not the real thing, not the real sort of screen.
Speaking of screens, I finally got myself a AGS 101 yesterday.
Oh yeah. And it's like the best freaking looking screen you've ever seen, right?
It's really impressive. I'd never seen one in person.
Yeah, it's something about the color on it is just.
I also got a Game Boy Pocket. You were very surprised because it's an early one. It has no power LED on it.
Right.
I didn't even know if that was like a thing.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I've seen one in person before. So I don't know if those are considered rare or not, but it's interesting. I mean, it's kind of cool that you've got a different looking one than me, so if we ever have a reason to show.
What color is yours?
It's silver, which is the same. I had a silver one back in the day, but I sold it. I stopped using it after I got my Game Boy Color, and then I think it was not too much longer later when I decided to get a PS1, and I sort of made up the cost of it by selling a few things, and my Game Boy Pocket was one. I remember before I took it to the store, I turned it on to make sure it worked, and I was just shocked by the ghosting. Because I didn't remember it from when I was playing it, or when I was playing my old brick style.
Right.
I just didn't remember that. And I was like, is something wrong with it? I just when I switched to Game Boy Color, it never jumped out at me just how good the pixel response time of it on it was. I wasn't immediately impressed by that like maybe I should have been when I switched to Game Boy Color. But yeah, it's They're definitely pretty ghosty. I bought after MagFest. I found at a local store. This was actually when I was looking for the Xbox games needed to do the soft mod hack.
Mm-hmm.
They had a clear brick Game Boy, which I either wanted a clear brick or a green brick to install a backlight mod.
See, I didn't even know that there was other colors of the
You
brick.
didn't?
No, I mean I got on a Target Lynx instead of a Game Boy. I always thought it was just the one color.
No, they released them. I forget exactly when. Maybe '95. There's red and green and I think yellow and clear. A friend of mine had a clear. He's actually who I gave my brick to because it had a bad screen. That was why I got my Game Boy Pocket. I want to say I probably got my Game Boy Pocket in I would guess early '97 if I had my best guess. And he had that clear brick, and I gave him my original because he was kind of a tinkerer. Mm-hmm. He kind of played around with electronics and made like homemade like alarm systems out of his like fire engine truck toys and stuff like that. So like I was like, oh, maybe he can use my Game Boy for parts or something. So I kind of now I obviously kind of wish I had my own childhood Game Boy, even if it was bad. The screen was really messed up though. It had at least one horizontal line, and it had multiple.
But that's the thing you fixed.
Black splotches. No, vertical lines.
Oh, okay.
Vertical lines. That Game Boy didn't have any vertical lines. It was my cousin's old Game Boy, and she actually had like two Game Boys for some reason. I actually have both. I have both of them, but one of them the front thing on the screen got screwed up a bit. But the one that I used for the production of the episode was great condition overall, I would say. But except it had a bunch of those vertical lines, just a ton of them, and that was the fixing process you saw in that video. Which turned out perfect. But yeah, the horizontal lines, no one really gave me details on how to do that, but apparently that is not easily fixed. I don't believe it is unfixable, but it is definitely not a simple thing. And I've never heard anyone talk about black splotches. Like I mean something must be leaking, I guess. I don't really know I don't know the details, but I had two black splotches on my original brick, and I've never heard anyone talk about that. That was a problem I had.
One more continue. If I don't make it further here, I'll just play something else.
Okay.
I feel like people are just like, come on, he's terrible at this.
I think there are like replacement I don't really know what you call it, but the clear cover, maybe you call it the lens, I think you might call it, the clear cover that goes over the screen, just like part of the front of the shell. I think you can get replacements for those, which might be nice to look into for sort of scratched surfaces for those screens.
Sorry, I was just concentrating.
Someone's asking what brand of component cables would be better for the Wii. Can't find the original for cheap. Really?
I had no idea that they had gone up in price.
Have the originals gone up in price? I guess it would make sense they probably don't make them anymore. I've got a Rocket Fish, which is like I believe a Best Buy owned brand. I bought them because I was like, at the time I was like taking my Wii to my parents' house semi-frequently, and I didn't want to like keep unplugging my cable, so I just got the Rocket Fish cables and didn't really care like if they were the same quality or not. And I've got those cables at my house now. I never noticed them being lesser quality, but I can't say for sure if they're all that good because I've never done a direct comparison. Some people also let me get this. People talk about this Wii to HDMI, and there's actually a few brands that make these. And people ask us about this all the dang time. and that's fine, but I don't have an answer because I've not tried this yet, and maybe I'll actually take this out of the box.
I like these guys. They're like dancing on the mine carts as I just like go by.
Yeah, they're great. I'll take this out of the box and maybe I'll feel inspired to test it out sometime too. I believe this does some sort of upscale. I think there's a sticker there's a sticker covering up the information on the backside, so I can't read all of this. There's also a PS2 version, which I think does not do an upscale. I think it just converts the analog signal to digital. Remember, this doesn't tap into some. See, it says full HD 1080p. I don't know if that's true. Obviously it's just upscaling, so it's not doing anything different from, like what the FrameMeister or whatever, or even your TV does. But yeah. Oh, okay. So he says the HDMI is cheap in Brazil, but he needs component because he bought a CRT with components. So that's it's still a good problem to have though, because it's a good thing to have. Is it just like a consumer model CRT? Because I seriously doubt like you would be able to, unless it was like a PVM or something. I don't think you would be able to tell like a quality difference on a regular CRT with a generic component versus an official Nintendo component. I would imagine it'd probably be okay. In fact, I think I played a good chunk of Phantasy Star on a Toshiba CRT.
Oh yeah.
With those Rocket Fish component cables when I was at my parents over Christmas one year. I remember doing that. I remember playing on that CRT, and I'm pretty sure I was using those Rocket Fish component cables.
This boss is pretty big. Is this like a crab, you think? Is it a giant enemy crab? So stunning the enemies with the lasso is pretty key, I think.
It probably more so for single player than multiplayer, I guess. It can help a ton, for sure. Doris has 3 lassos, if you noticed.
Yeah, I did notice that. Oh, did I do it? See, certain bosses are really easy.
Yeah, the crab
that
boss
was simple.
Yeah, here's this Wii 2 HDMI. What? Even though I haven't tested it yet, what I always tell people
there's a PS2 version of that too.
Right. Well, let me get that out of the box. I've got that too, because the PS2 episode is going to be the next system-specific RGB episode that I edit. But the next one is more likely going to be either Saturn or TurboGrafx edited.
In terms
Coury.
of console specific, we're doing a Switcher episode first, I believe, because I feel like that's a really outstanding, or just a long-standing episode that we've wanted to do for a long time.
Yeah.
And that was just going to be SCART switchers at first, but I think we're going to do like some other switchers as well. Just so we can see. The reason we wanted to kind of do other switchers than just SCART is because we got a tweet a while back where somebody was saying that they noticed an issue with color being different between their powered component switcher and like the mechanical one.
Yeah.
Like it was incorrect on the powered one.
So I think I forgot about this, but the PS2 one, the body of this is actually very, very similar. But I think the PS2 one, it comes with a USB cable, so I think it requires to be powered by USB. I wonder if you can do it with like the PS2 system power. You know, while we're talking about this, why don't I plug this into my Wii and try it?
Yeah, sure.
Why don't I do it? I'll give you live reaction.
Yeah. It's probably a lot more interesting than watching me just like dying repeatedly in this. It's all right. You know, I was on vacation. It's taking me a little while to get reacclimated. I was visiting my brother, my mom, and my dad, and my stepmom in Fort Myers, Florida. Went to a game store called the 8-Bit Hall of Fame.
Oh.
It's pretty decent. They had the same medical PVMs that we have.
Really?
They just had one.
Well, one thing I will say, plugging this thing into this plastic box feels really bad. Like it just feels like I am like pushing something that's not gonna hold up over time. It feels really cheap.
It's this guy again. Yeah, they recycle bosses.
Oh, is it like the little guy? I'm not
yeah,
looking
the
at
blue
him.
guy.
Yeah. I don't know why, but for some reason he makes me think of like George McFly. So
And you don't even see him. He's just like off in the distance.
Yeah, I call him McFly.
McFly. I'm gonna keep on going because I beat that last level.
Oh, nice. I'm having a hard time plugging this thing into my system. There it is.
Do you feel like throwing the dynamite is kind of a big thing too?
For some reason, this is like something. I don't do it a lot. I'm not very good at throwing dynamite. Hold on a second. I'm going to need to get some Wii Remote batteries.
Okay. Yeah, I had that same problem with the Wii Remotes. Like, the batteries just die, even if you're not using it. More than anything else that I have.
Alright, I'm back. Let me see if... Alright, let's see how this does. You know what? At a glance, this actually looks pretty good. Things are like really smooth. Like I'm looking at the, like the circles, like in the Wii interface, like the setting, the button you click to go on the menu. It's like the system saying it's a circle.
Right.
Like it looks really round and smooth.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people use these things for sure.
I think so. Yeah, I mean they're readily available. Let me check. Oh, now that's interesting. I say that. It's the signal is 480i right now, and that's probably because that's probably because I was last using the Wii to capture something Virtual Console. So before I change any system settings, let me boot up a Virtual Console game and see what happens, because it should be doing 240p to my TV. Hey, Classic Gaming Quarterly with the super chat action. Thank you, man.
Thanks. Super chat.
Okay, so I have no signal now.
It doesn't know what to do with it.
And I know my TV accepts 240p over HDMI because I've done it with, I did it with the GameCube HDMI mod. Yeah, that is not working. So unfortunately, if you're looking to play Virtual Console games, 240p Virtual Console games, it looks like this HDMI thingamajig is not going to work. I guess you could do it if you set the system to 1080, 480p.
You were just saying last night that you are hoping to do the PS2 RGB episode in probably like May or so.
Tentatively, like I'm optimistically hoping May. There's a few things I'll need to be able to get access to. I'll need to probably get a few revisions of PS2 systems. I need to get my hands on a hardware backwards compatible PS3. Outside of that, I'm probably pretty good, though.
Here's the boss.
Okay, so this supposedly, if you see advertising that says this thing upscales to 1080p, it's a lie. Unless there's another version that does that. So I'm going to set my TV to widescreen now. You know, I'm going to be honest, this looks pretty good. You know, I don't know about lag or anything, but...
I thought it was done.
Like the text elements and all that stuff looks smooth. You know, it looks good. This is not bad. I don't know. Let me boot up old Super Metroid and see what happens now that I can actually see it in 480p. Oh, it won't let me boot without a classic controller, and I don't feel like getting the classic controller.
You got to do it.
Oh, it actually wouldn't. Well, okay, I'll do it. I haven't tried 480p Wii Virtual Console in a long time, so it'll be a good refresher what it looks like.
I just gotta learn these patterns. I'm just getting crushed now.
I have this stupid gold classic controller Pro that came with the Activision GoldenEye remake.
Oh, really?
But I hate this controller because these handles like tell my brain you're holding a PlayStation controller. And that means this button is confirmed and this button is cancel, and that is untrue.
I've never had problems like that. Just
I can't deal with it. Okay, let's try Super Metroid here.
I'm just like letting myself die. There's no way I can finish this level. Do you have the gold nunchuck?
No, there's a gold nunchuck?
Well, there was one you could get from Club Nintendo.
Ah.
Because then you'd have the... Because you have the Skyward Sword, the one that came with the gold.
Of the gold Wii remote, yeah. That one I have synced up to my Wii U. You know, this Super Nintendo is like, I mean, it's 480p. I mean, it's blurry, but it's...
Man.
I mean, I'd play it.
If you had no other way to play these certain things.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real.
Yeah. I mean, it's not... certainly not my first choice. But, you know, I was actually just thinking about that earlier today, that I don't have... I bought 2 nunchucks at launch,
mm-hmm.
and I've never bought another.
Yeah, like, I mean, I can understand that.
I feel like before it's too late, I need to get like a brand new fresh nunchuck or 2, just to have for posterity, you know?
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, I cannot share my screen.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm just giving you live impressions of the. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is pretty darn passable. I doubt it's better than Component. But this is, I mean, at least on my TV. I mean, you have to remember, my TV is handling this 480p upscale that I'm looking at here.
I wish there was a way to just like, there's like a button shortcut to use the lasso.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how it doesn't add any extra button functionality beyond the Super Nintendo game.
I feel like I've got to finish this tonight.
How many levels have you finished?
I finished 2 or 3, I think.
3 of the...
No, yeah.
Once you started
I came close to finishing this one, yeah.
I don't know if I'm not the best judge of lag, so I can't say if this device is adding any lag or...
Yeah, because I mean, your TV has bad lag anyway, as you discovered.
Yeah, so you know, and for the episode though, I'll have to come up with a good way to check the lag variation. Now, I don't know when this episode is going to happen. You know, it may not be this year. It may be. We'll see. We definitely get requests for Wii.
Yeah.
Let me see what. Do I have anything available to Like boot up like an actual game. Like an actual Wii game. Well, you know what? I'll boot up the Me Maker. It'll be a decent representation of what 3D graphics could look like. Well, that looks pretty blurry, but
A well-placed bomb can defeat these bosses really quick. It seems like.
I mean, that's just how Wii looks. So yeah, this is not terrible. It's not doing its own upscale. It's letting your TV do the upscale. This is not terrible. Let me check. Is this integrating audio? Yep.
Oh, the old
Me Maker. Yeah, so you know, I'm moderately impressed. I'm going to plug my component cables back in and see if I notice any immediate difference. Won't be anything scientific. I'll save that for the episode.
Did I do it? I did it. All right, back to the train.
Is that the last one?
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, you thought like, oh, you might want to have something else to play just in case. I think you greatly overestimate like how good I am at it. I mean, it's not quite you playing Revenge of Shinobi, but
well, I thought you were I thought you'd beaten the Super Nintendo version on Virtual Console.
Mm-mm.
So that was had I known that, I would not have overestimated you for sure. All right, let's see how. Let me load the. I use the. Does Firebrand X have a Wii profile? I usually.
It should be the same thing as the GameCube, right?
Yeah, I just use the F-Zero GX profile.
Oh, for everything?
For widescreen.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I don't think that's a smoothed profile. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Oh, this has happened to me twice now. You get the gun that just like shoots like the ping pong balls.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's clever.
That's junk.
It's clever. It's clever that they put that in there.
Yeah, I mean, running this through the FrameMeister looks fine as well.
Oh, interesting. Someone says, like, can't you share play this game? You play two players that way.
Oh, can you?
I wonder if you can. It's, you know, you might be able to.
Yeah, but you're in the middle of this single player run. We don't want to screw that up now.
But maybe we should, after the stream, we should just like try out, see if it works. We've never done share play. I think I watched you play Metal Gear one time using share play, didn't I?
Yeah, I think you did.
It's like a fun thing just to have on in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, so running through the FrameMeister with Component also looks good. I don't feel like trying Component directly to my TV right now, but you know what? This HDMI doohickey might actually be okay.
I feel like we're a lot of times we're pleasantly surprised by certain things.
Well, the funny thing, honestly, is that we're like, as much as we're into all this video quality stuff, we're like, also, like, I feel like we're not that picky.
No.
At the end of the day, like, it's like, oh, well, that looks interesting,
Right.
It might be worse, but it's like, oh, it's everything, even RF on, a crappy old CRT. There's a certain quality to it that's like, yes,
Right.
that nostalgic look, So I mean, most things are ultimately fine, but some might be better than others. But that HDMI thing might be pretty okay. It might be cheaper for a lot of people than getting component cables, especially if they don't need to worry about connecting to a CRT.
Yeah.
So, at a glance, it seems okay. But it does not upscale, but you probably wouldn't want it to. I mean, for a thing of that cost, I mean, they couldn't cram a good upscaler into it. So, you'd rather your TV handle 480p in most cases. And of course, we'll compare Wii on running on the Wii U and stuff like that. But all that is likely to be some time away. I'm going to PS2 first, for sure.
We have a number of things in various planning stages right now. And I feel bad because sometimes I feel like so overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that we still have decided, hey, let's do this.
Yeah, it is overwhelming. I mean, there's just a lot of things. It's like, I feel like we need to get to this.
Right.
We've promised this, or we're borrowing something from someone, or something was sent to us for a particular episode, and it's like, we can only get so much done, and we gotta relax sometime, and we do very little of that, but we gotta.
I agree.
I'm looking forward to just shutting out the world and playing Breath of the Wild all day for days on end. It's gonna be good. All right, good night, the Dimensioner.
Oh, come on. I kind of got into a good rhythm with that guy. Let's try it again.
Oh, the boss?
Yeah.
He's annoying.
Yeah.
We tore him up in multiplayer, though.
I bet.
Yeah, I mean,
and you guys had all finished it anyways.
Yeah, all three of us had beaten the game before, though I don't think I had beaten it single player before.
Ever?
Not single player. I think I'd only beaten it co-op.
Really?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe I had beaten. I probably had beaten it single player.
I think you should try to beat it single player and see how it goes.
Well, I will this version for sure. Sometime. I may have beat it single player on the Wii. I just can't quite remember. I know I've beaten it multiplayer though, for sure. Hey, it's Blade Blur with a super chat.
Thank you. That's super chat. Man. It's actually a lot more super than I was expecting.
Well, people can't give something never weak.
No, but I mean, it's crazy though.
It's a fun feature though. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
What's the best HDMI switcher we found? I've not fallen totally in love with any particular HDMI switcher.
Yeah.
The main thing to keep in mind with HDMI switcher though, is 4K important to you and stuff like that. You'll need one to the HDMI 2.0 spec if you want it to be future-proof. HDMI is not just HDMI anymore. There's 1.4 and 2.0 and all that kind of stuff. So, and that's never really been an issue for me in the past. I've just bought whatever. But now, I've got PS4 Pro. I'm looking to get a 4K TV at some point this year, hoping to save up for it. And I'm going to need to be ready for it. Let me, while I'm unboxing things that I've ordered and not done anything with yet, let me get another box. I bought this HDMI switcher because I'm going to probably move over to sort of like a 2 HDMI switcher setup for various reasons. One, for partly for devices that output limited range only, to different switcher for devices that output full range video RGB. So I bought a second one to hopefully sort of future-proof me for 4K stuff, because I'm out of. I mean, the Nintendo Switch is coming out in just a few weeks here, and I'm out of spaces on my 8-input monoprice switcher, which I'm not necessarily in love with. It has this blinking light on it that I'm really annoyed by. In fact, as I've been doing stuff with the AVS, I've got a HDMI cable running across my floor over to my switcher, and I'm swapping between the did I say AVS? I meant NT Mini.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I've been swapping between the HDMI cable for NT Mini and the FrameMeister. I've been swapping them out because I'm full.
That's what I got.
I bought this, but I haven't implemented it yet. I'm probably going to be doing some reorganizing soon. This is, who even makes this? It doesn't have a brand name on it, but it says HDMI switcher 5x1, which means 5 in, 1 out. And it says it supports 4K. So this is, according to the Amazon listing, it is HDMI 2.0. It says 4K at 60 hertz, which means it does support HDMI 2.0. Let me check.
Where did I get hit from there?
Let me check what switcher this is, because this doesn't have a brand name on it or anything. On the back, it says luxury electronic products.
Luxury.
I mean, this is probably nothing special, but I'm hoping it gets the job done. But like I say, I'm planning to kind of use 2 switchers so that I can use 2 HDMI inputs on my TV. so I can have different settings for different devices that require different settings. Like the Wii U, for example, is limited range only. PS4, PS3, Xbox 360, those are all full range devices. The FrameMeister has a full range and limited range mode in it, but I did some experiments and I think that the FrameMeister is actually limited range, and that what it claims is full range is a big fat lie.
Right. We kind of discovered some stuff randomly about the pass-through. We thought it was like not like affecting the image at all.
We thought it was not affecting the color, and it actually is like kind of destroying it.
Yeah, I don't even understand what my problem is here in this game. Because it started because I thought that Final Fantasy 15 was really, really dark. The image was really dark.
Yeah.
And to the point where I could not see anything. Like in the nighttime scenes, like I couldn't see anything.
Now at nighttime,
like no, I understand that you're not.
It is pretty dark.
It is, but this was like really dark. You couldn't see anything. You like may as well not even have a flashlight. So you were doing some stuff with Banjo. Was that what you were testing with? It was Banjo-Kazooie on the 360.
I did this when I was setting up to play Cameo actually, but I used Banjo kind of because it was an easy game to boot up, off my hard drive and test things. Also, I kind of knew how it should look because I'm familiar with the N64 version, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's this place like right inside where there's like some textures on the wall down a dark corridor. And so it's kind of a good place for testing the different ranges. Because I've not done a whole lot of, before then I hadn't done a whole lot of, full game capture. And I discovered, I was trying to sort of dial in and understand more fully the differences between full range and limited range and whether the FrameMeister was doing anything. And it was. It was affecting the range of color that was passing through it quite significantly, even when the FrameMeister was set to full range. It was not a very good result. And I thought pass-through did not do anything, but when I was in those areas where you could clearly see some of the darker end of the spectrum, it was definitely doing some stuff. And so I decided that bypassing the FrameMeister completely is the way to go, even though it can make things convenient for capture. But actually, now that I've not been using it, it's actually not really inconvenient at all. It really isn't. The only thing is an OBS if you need to capture 720p.
You have to switch the whole thing.
You have to manually tell it that it's to expect 720p instead of 1080p. But in our normal recording software, it's not an issue at all. But it's like the likelihood of me streaming 720p game is very low right now. Like that would be a PS3 game, and I'm just not streaming a lot of PS3 games right now. So
right.
It's not worth building my whole setup around whether I might do a 720p PS3 game.
Right.
At Xbox 360, if you set it to 1080p, the system always outputs 1080p.
Yeah.
Even if it's a 720p game. Now, I did record Cameo in native 720p, just to be sure I was that the upscale didn't do anything bad. The upscale doesn't look that great for system menu things, but from what I was observing, it looks fine. The system's built-in upscale from 720 to 1080 looks okay. I didn't see obvious issues with game graphics, but the system menu looks kind of not that great with 720p. It's kind of weird, or excuse me, with 1080p. So I think if streaming Xbox 360, I'll have it set to 1080p just to make it easy. But if I'm recording an Xbox 360 game and it's not native 1080p, which I imagine is very few, then I'm just going to have the system set to 720p for capture. But anyway, so yeah, that was actually very instructional for me, because I'll be honest, I didn't know that when a system was outputting full range or limited range over HDMI, that the threshold for true black is different on my TV.
Right.
So, for example, for limited range systems, if I move brightness on my TV past about 45, now keep in mind this is just my TV, but if I move it past 45, I start to lose, true black. The black starts graying a little bit. And that's what I just had set for all systems. Well, I discovered I could set for like 10 to 12 or 13 steps higher, about 55 to 57 or so on full range output systems without losing that. So I was not getting the best I could have out of full range HDMI, and I didn't realize it because I had based, because lately I'm playing more FrameMeister on my HD TV than I am PS4 or whatever. So I calibrated a lot of my TV based on the FrameMeister, and obviously that was a mistake, because I could get a lot more depth of color if I had set the brightness to about 65 instead of 55 instead of 45. But now that since I don't want to change my settings every single time, now when I have the FrameMeister on my TV, the black levels are slightly washed out. So that's one reason I want to go to the two switcher setup. One, I'm full on this switcher anyway, and two, I can put full range systems on one, and then limited range on another. Which I guess
a good idea. Yeah.
The limited range, though, really is only Wii U and the FrameMeister, but whatever.
I heard you say speaking full playthroughs. I was gonna say, speaking of full playthroughs, because we haven't really even talked about this on the stream.
We didn't mention this last week. So some of you may have seen it on Twitter. Probably
2 weeks ago.
Week and a half, 2 weeks ago. We have a secondary channel, if that's what you want to call it. You're not missing out on much. Yeah. Don't think you're missing some awesome MLiG content or anything that you really wanted to see. We're just kind of uploading
raw footage, essentially.
Raw footage, like if we did a full playthrough of the game or most of a playthrough of a game. We record this stuff in as high quality as we can. We're just uploading those to this other channel that we're calling Video Game B-Roll.
Yeah,
it's just I'll just type it in the chat here. It's just youtube.com/Video Game B-Roll. And
the whole thing, kind of the idea behind it, is that we encourage people to download it and use it for their own videos if they want to. Hopefully it will save some people time of having to record stuff.
Right. And what's even cooler is this is a channel that you started some time back, but didn't really do much of anything with it. And you digitized some promotional
videotapes and stuff. Yeah.
There are you guys got to watch them. You've got, I think, 2 TurboGrafx 16 promo tapes. I'm not even sure who they were targeted at, because they're 18 minutes long or something. They're long. They aren't they certainly aren't TV commercials. And they are amazing. Like, they are so 90s.
Yeah.
They're very, very cheesy. We've got these cheesy backgrounds, and it's amazing. So you've got like a Saturn promo, some TurboGrafx promos, and we're going to upload some more of that type of stuff, some VHS tapes, just kind of stuff like that. But a lot of it's just going to be some of the raw material that we did a full playthrough of the game. Like Coury has uploaded most, or maybe not all, but most of your Time Crisis playthroughs that you did for your Time Crisis
I still have like a
episode.
couple more left to do.
Mm-hmm. I've
Yeah.
uploaded some of my, obviously wasn't a full playthrough, but my Cameo Xbox footage I recorded. I've uploaded the Chameleon Twist games. Just for the heck of it, I recorded my Resident Evil 7 playthrough when that came out a few weeks ago. And it took me about 12 and a half hours to play through it, and I just trimmed it down to like 5 hours of footage, just sort of made 5 hour selects, I guess. And
I finally beat that guy.
Oh man.
But it's just, it's a good way to people can use that footage, or if they just want to see some raw gameplay in as high a quality as possible, as like at least the weird people
I mean, that was
doing.
that was actually what kind of made, like, I knew you had done this like channel, but hadn't really done much of anything with it. But I just wasn't really thinking of it when I said it. But I was telling you how I was like, man, I wonder if anyone would want to just watch our like full playthroughs of some of these games that we've recorded, or even if it wasn't a full playthrough, just like just be nice to just upload that stuff, because like I know, like for myself, I'll be honest, I'm not always looking for a video like the videos we make. When I'm searching YouTube and I'm like, I like hear about a game and I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting, I want to know more about it. I'm not going, I'm not usually going to click on something that looks like a review. Like I'm just going to click on like, a long play or something like that, where it's just like raw gameplay, no commentary. I just want to look at this game. I just want to see what this game is like. And so I was like, we've got lots of stuff like that, but we can, we've recorded it in higher quality than most, and from real systems, so that might be interesting for a lot of people. And
then I see somebody saying like the VHS stuff is all recorded at 60 frames per second, like as it should be. It looks just like a VHS.
Because I guess the way VHS works is like each field is actually a different frame, kind of like how, like if you were to play a 60 frames, PS2 game or whatever like that, that's how it works as far as I know. Each field is partial information from another frame, which is, it's just kind of a weird thing to wrap your head around, because, people always say, oh, well, video is 29.97 frames, but each field is not necessarily bound from being from the same frame as the previous field.
Yeah, so I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely gives you that, that weirdly too real look that VHS can have.
Right. And we have a whole bunch more that we're going to be uploading soon.
Yeah.
But essentially, like, we're going to be uploading the stuff like as we do episodes on it.
Yeah, and if we play through a game and record it and plan to do an episode on it later, we're probably going to save it until we've done our own episode.
Right.
But for something like I'm not going to make a video about Resident Evil 7, at least not anytime soon. So I mean, it's like, why not just share that footage if someone wants to watch Resident Evil 7 without commentary?
You did an episode on Resident Evil Revelations a long time ago that is like now been like lost.
Yeah, it's kind
does
of
not exist anywhere anymore.
It's kind of a lost episode. Well, that was when we were collaborating.
If we ever do like a Blu-ray, we can put it on there.
Yeah, we were collaborating with Re-Res for a while, a few years back, and we re-released on the channel all of those episodes, and I remastered the Famicom 3D system episode, greatly expanded it, redid the voiceover. But this one episode that I did on Resident Evil Revelations 2, I felt like it didn't fit with what we were doing on the channel, and I just felt weird about re-releasing it. It didn't feel like it fit in. So I never. I thought it was fine, but it just wasn't the type of episode that I was interested in doing anything with at the time. We sort of had a show concept, I guess, for it that just didn't fit in anymore. Like, it was an experiment that didn't really go anywhere. So, but yeah, we could put it on Blu-ray sometime. By the way, the boss of this level is really hard.
Well, that's the last boss, right?
Yeah, he is not easy. I would save your bombs for sure. It's intense.
How many parts are there to this stage?
3, and then the boss.
Okay.
I assume you're in that first vault area now.
Yeah, the gold.
Yeah, there's a second area, and then it's the boss room. Or a second area once you're inside. Like, the first area is just those 2 big robots.
Oh, we got the invincibility going here.
The importer asks, why did we stop the Re-Res collab? It just wasn't really working, like, for us or for him. I mean, for any of the ones of us that was involved. Like, it wasn't. We realized it wasn't, like, really adding up to growth for anyone. We were just able to. We were all able to just kind of, when we focused our efforts on our own channels, like, it was just working out much better for everyone.
Right.
Is basically the short answer. I mean, it's just I think it really made us see, like, how we could focus our efforts, and
right, which is actually, because after we did that, that's when we went weekly.
Right, we went weekly. It was a good experiment for sort of pushing ourselves and seeing, like, what our production capacity really was. We were like, at the time, we were like, started realizing, like, hey, we're doing My Life in Gaming episodes, and we're doing Re-Res episodes. Like, we might be able to do more than we thought we could. And then after the collaboration ended, we're like, well, let's go weekly. So we ramped it up even more. And, and
now it's, like, hard to imagine.
Overkill, yeah. But we're also making, like, more involved episodes
in general
than we were even at that time. So so it was, that was a great stop on our YouTube career, if that's how you want to word it. Because, I mean, it definitely helped us understand, our production capacity, how far we could push ourselves, let us experiment with some new things. But I think in the long run, all of us, realized that we were doing best when we were doing our own thing, on our own channels. We were producing the best work and more work, and I think it was reaching the right audience,
Right.
Because a lot of people didn't know we were on Re-Res, and Re-Res wasn't necessarily sending people to us. So, people weren't watching all of our stuff in one place. And it just makes sense. If people are looking for us, they watch it on our channel. If people are looking for Dave, they watch him on his own channel. If people are looking for Duke, his channel. If people are looking for Shane, watch Re-Res.
I'm getting better.
The boss is rough.
Don't stop. You're scaring me.
I mean, it's just that he takes more hits than you think. If you're lucky, maybe you'll be ready for the Vulcan cannon when you get into his room.
Well, whether or not it happens on stream, it's like I'm gonna beat this game tonight.
No, someone is saying, you see Kevtris just add like 12 systems to the NT Mini. Are you referring to the 1.0 firmware that he released Friday? Or are you or are you talking about something new?
And you're like, please don't let it be something new.
No. I actually want it to be new because that section of the script, like I can add more VO to that like it's nothing. Like I'm totally okay with him adding more stuff because I would like to be able to show more systems.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that at least by next Friday that I might even be able to show something new. Hold on, I'm checking his Atari Age post. Let's see if there's anything.
That's true. I mean, that kind of gives, like, it breaks out of the norm of just like, oh, it's just another Nintendo episode.
Yeah, I mean that's the big thing. Of course, it mostly is about that, but the systems. Okay, so he's just talking about the update. So from Friday. So that update, I don't. Have we talked about this on this stream yet? I mean, just in case people aren't aware, Kevtris, who configured the insides of the NT Mini, has released his own version of the firmware. So it's made by the same guy. So it's basically, in the script, I'm calling it official, unofficial firmware. The analog has no problem with. They can't. The analog can't directly support the firmware or answer questions about it, but they don't care. It doesn't void your warranty, and I'm sure they fully support it because obviously it's going to help the NT Mini sell more. Kevtris has been working for, I want to say, over a decade on making FPGA cores for 8-bit systems, and he is porting those over to the NT Mini, so you can change the hardware configuration on the NT Mini by loading these cores. You can play Master System. Right now, he's released one core that does SG-1000, Master System, Game Gear, and ColecoVision. Apparently, ColecoVision runs on like basically the same processor as those, which seems kind of crazy. The system is obviously a lot less advanced than like Master System, because I do have some slight history with ColecoVision because my cousin had one, which is now mine. But it's not a system I've played a whole ton of. Not huge into games from that era, but I do have I have a soft spot for the ColecoVision. But yeah, it's just like awesome to have like RGB and HDMI for those systems. Like that is a big deal. That you've got access to those, and it's configured to work for all intents and purposes like the real hardware. I mean, and it. Remember the difference between an FPGA and an emulator is that the hardware itself is, the chip is a very flexible. The main integrated circuit is so flexible and programmable that it literally can function exactly like another hardware configuration. So the crazy thing is, Like the NES composite looks. It's got the same quirks, the same weird noise.
Oh, I got the Vulcan cannon like right before the boss.
Oh, disappointing. And like the NES, when you're on analog output, it does 60.08 hertz, which is exactly what a real NES does. And if you load up the other core to do like Master System and such, it does 59.91 hertz, which is exactly what a real Master System does. So it's, it is imitating the hardware on a very very granular level.
Man. I saved my bombs. I used them all on the very beginning of the boss.
You might want to wait until like some enemies come out.
Ugh. I can do this.
Did you get them flashing?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I'm still watching the fight. You haven't been fighting them that long.
He just takes a long time. Is that it? He just takes a lot of hits.
Yeah, it's just more hits than you would expect, You can do it. You can't get this far and quit now,
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not gonna stop. Did you know that today was my backlog anniversary?
I did not know that.
Yeah, 9 years ago.
Wow. 9 years. It's like crazy to me because like if I think about like when the backloggery opened, let's see, backloggery started like the backloggery didn't open until 2007, but I started doing backlogging. Oh, you know what? I guess I missed it. My backlog anniversary was February 5th.
Really?
Yeah, so and that is like when I started doing it on the spreadsheet sort of system with Drum and Xavian before we actually opened the Backloggery website. But so that's 11 years for me. I mean, you think about that, like I'm 32. That's like over a third of my life. And I didn't start doing this until my senior year of college. Like how was my senior year of college a third of my life ago? Slightly more than a third of my life ago. It's insane.
It's weird to think about.
So Jared White is saying, have you guys tried the Game Gear adapter for the Retro Freak? It lets you play actual SG-1000 games on the Mega Drive.
On the Mega Drive?
I don't know, supposedly. Our SG-1000 games can't be the same size as Game Gear, can they?
I don't know. But there was also a Game Gear adapter has come out for the Retron came out recently too.
Oh yeah, they did do a thing, didn't they? What slot does it fit in?
I don't know. Justin Sisson, are you older than me? I don't know if you're older than me. I'm 38.
You're the old man around here for sure.
Yeah. Whatever.
You own it.
I don't have any choice. I have my 20-year high school reunion this year.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Are you gonna go?
Yeah, I'll go. I went to school with like a very small class. It was like 60 people in my graduating.
That's the size of my class too.
I generally got along with everybody, so it's.
I don't think I'm ever going to get invited to anything like that because like the people who would even coordinate that probably have absolutely no idea where I am anymore. Like I've only I still sort of have some contact with two of my high school friends, but
the weirdest thing to me is not that it's been 20 years since I graduated from high school, but that it's been 10 years since the last reunion already. Which doesn't seem like 10 years ago, that's for sure.
My friends that I talked to, I think they said that there was some sort of event, but I can't remember if they said they even went to it or not. For our 10-year, which was, I mean, I guess this year's my 15th.
Yeah.
So, how old were you when you, like, were you 19 yet when you graduated?
Was I 19?
Or not? Or
yes, I turned 18 in December.
You turned your senior year.
Yes.
Okay. So you were like 18 and a half. Or wait, how's that? I always forget how the ages line up.
No, I was 18. I turned 18.
Because I had a really weird birthday for starting school, because I was like technically 4 when I started kindergarten.
Okay.
So I was always like one of the young ones in my class. Like one of my friends was like a good bit older, like, cause he was the guy with a car before. Like I think I was like the second youngest in my class. And I think one of my friends was the oldest. I think he was like almost a year and a half older than me.
That's weird to think about.
Yeah, and I think these days, they're a lot more strict about like the age cutoff for starting school.
They might be. I mean,
so I definitely would have been a class of 03 these days. With today's rules, rather. Because they wouldn't have let me start kindergarten at 4 when I was like I was like 2 days shy of turning 5 when I started kindergarten.
Man. Now this game is awesome, but it's just it's tough.
It's tough. It is tough.
It's a lot harder than it looks. I thought it was not going to be that hard either.
Well, like I said, I thought that you'd beaten the Super Famicom version. Between that and with Infinite Continues, I thought, it'd be no problem.
Oh my God! It's 11:15.
You didn't realize it?
No.
You should.
I'm going to keep on playing.
Are you like pretty committed to sticking with Annie? Not gonna see if you can do better with Doris.
I'll try Doris. We'll give one try with Doris, and then we'll
see how it goes.
Yeah. And if not, we'll wrap it up, and I'll do it on my own time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, can you quit the game? And I mean, you can put your PS4 in rest mode, and it'll like stay here.
Yeah, but I'm gonna beat it tonight. Yeah, I've decided that. I've decided that I'm definitely beating it tonight. I almost feel bad though that I was like didn't use Because, I feel like if I'm beating it for the first time, I should use, like, the original characters.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. To me, it was like, fun to try a new character. But you should see how Doris goes.
Yeah, well, I am. It's not going too great.
Doris's bomb is awesome. She like chucks like this super oversized, like it looks like a grenade. It's a big bomb.
But she doesn't get any like weapon power-ups, right?
No.
I mean, you think that these new characters could be considered like more of an easy mode?
I mean, it's possible. It's possible. Like, Bullet is an easy mode in the sense that he like, has some auto lock on stuff, but in some ways I think he's a little harder. Like, because for example,
it's easy to get lost, I thought.
It's easy to get a little lost, and if Bullet himself is too far away from his drone, then you can't do a melee attack, which can really screw you up. Like if you're expecting to be able to, get a guy.
Yeah. See, this is like messing with my rhythm. I was playing with her.
Well, you know what? Maybe you just need a break from Annie, and now you're going to go back to Annie, and it's going to be like way better.
Yeah. I'll try it one more time on stream, and then I'll do it on my own.
Y'all just have to look up the end of the game.
Yeah. I can't imagine beating this.
Limited continues.
Well, no, and I guess I can imagine. It's just like any other game, you get better, But
yeah,
it's just
well,
like I just think about like getting the hard, like beating the hard mode without continuing. I'm a big fan of like robots wearing cowboy hats, though.
I mean, yeah, why not?
Oh well, that Vulcan cannon, it gets wasted every time.
Yeah.
So yeah, this week we'll both be working on episodes this week.
Yeah. The hope is that you'll finish an episode, which will kind of give us something to bank for when
for the Switch launch.
Yeah, when we're busy messing with the Switch and Zelda.
But if they're if Switch, like, they haven't said anything about a virtual console, but I mean if there's I think if there's a Switch virtual console like on release date, then you can expect an episode on that, like, really
pretty soon. I mean, the only reason I would delay that is if they don't have a lot of systems available at launch, and I kind of might want to wait and see, like, like kind of honestly, kind of what I want to do. Like I want to do. Like, at first I was just thinking, like, let's look at Switch and maybe do some comparisons to Switch Virtual Console and maybe do some comparisons to previous Virtual Consoles that, of course, compare to original hardware. But I think what I might really should do is just do, like, a whole, like, state of the Virtual Console episode and, like, really talk about really talk about Wii Virtual Console, really talk about Wii U Virtual Console, really talk about 3DS Virtual Console and Switch Virtual Console. And, if N64, for example, is not available for Virtual Console at the Switch launch, then, when N64 comes about, then I'll do a N64 Virtual Console episode.
Right.
It might not be as long, but there's obviously still lots of things I can compare it to, so yeah. I think it'll still be worth it. That might not even, it would be considered an episode, but it might not even take the place necessarily of another episode. We might be able to get 3 episodes out that month, you know?
Yeah. But we've said that before, though.
We've said that before. Yeah. Yeah. We're never going to run out of ideas.
Yeah.
Because in reality, we can only make so many episodes a year.
Right.
I mean, there's just so many things. It's like, oh, well, I want to get to this. I want to get to this. I want to get to this. Like if there were 5 of me, I still wouldn't be getting all the episodes done that I want to get done. You know?
Yeah.
Like within as timely of a manner as I want. Like at any given point, there's like 5 episodes that I wish could be my next one.
There's the Vulcan again on the boss.
Before the boss, or the
Yeah.
the second to last room boss.
Yep.
Oh, you can do it. Just don't be intimidated by the boss. Just don't be intimidated. Yeah. Don't be.
I just gotta, like, take it cool. Or play it cool. It's the other things. It's not even the boss himself. It's the other things going on in the room.
You've not had trouble with bosses really up until this point?
Mm-mm.
Except for the train guy, but, so this boss ain't gonna be no different. By the way, I assume you know this, but you are invulnerable while you're launching a bomb.
Yes. Oh, he's flashing too. I got him. I can get him. Man. My heart was beating. Should I try it one more time? See if I can do it.
Try it one more time. Do it again. Yeah.
He was flashing. I mean, watch him. He's flashing.
I don't see the flashing yet. The flashing does go on for a little while, but you can get them. I don't think any of the other bosses do that, do they? That good old Ninja Turtles flash?
I think so, yeah. Well,
I don't remember the others doing that.
Jumps the wrong way.
You got this.
You know what? The stupid ping pong ball. Ping pong gun. You're very safe over in the right-hand side of the screen with these. The bosses with the cowboy robots with the cowboy hats. I mean, I feel like I've pretty much know how the levels are going to go.
Yeah.
And there's the Vulcan gun again. Vulcan cannon.
Well, getting it early-ish in the level is not bad. Because then you might be getting ready for it.
That's true. It'd be awesome if that was the case, but I don't think it is. It's going to be. I know how to beat this guy pretty good now.
Who?
The blue guy.
McFly?
Yeah, McFry. Ugh, I should have gotten the gun right there.
You know, it's a little surprising they didn't. I mean, I don't think. I prefer that they stuck, you know, with the purest route here. But it's a little surprising they didn't. They didn't add like a dual analog mode.
Yeah, that could
or
have
an
been cool.
analog mode at all.
Yeah.
It probably would have thrown off the game balance.
I mean, I'm
too
using
much,
the
though.
analog right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That surprises me. Because, I mean, it's digital.
God. Oh, God. Jumped right into it.
That'll happen.
I'm feeling the pressure right now.
Oh, you got it. You got it.
That's the first time I'm going to fight this boss without...
I think if I'm remembering right, from my Virtual Console playthrough, you can use this boss to get your Vulcan up pretty easy.
Well, it's pretty up there. I only have 2 lives left.
Yeah, but you got your full bombs. You get the Vulcan cannon on the boss. Could be good stuff.
Nah. It's not going to happen.
You got it. You got it.
Ah. Nope. Didn't happen. Oh, well.
Was he flashing for a while?
No, it...
Just started?
I didn't just, like, unload all my bombs at the beginning. I should have... I tried to kind of space them out a little bit.
Oh, you didn't... Oh, yeah, see. Yeah, you didn't use them all.
Well, William Carpenter in the chat wants me to try one more time.
Yeah. Do it. Do it.
All right.
You got it. You got this.
All right, well... If I can just get to him with enough lives, I'll be okay.
Yeah. I mean, you seem to be pretty good at dodging, you know?
I'm getting better.
Dodging. I mean, you're doing a pretty good job of surviving, you know, with just a couple of lives.
Yeah. I'm not playing for score. I'm just playing to win right now.
Play to win. How to win at PlayStation 4 games.
Oh, there's my Vulcan.
It's about the same time you got last time, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a little later. One of these times it'll time out right. Except it's not going to because you're going to finish this time.
Awesome.
You know? You don't need it. You don't need it.
Let's see how it goes.
Right, you're going to. The import says, let's make it like an arcade and add more coins for Coury to continue with Super Chat.
Don't do that. So you're kind of invincible for a little bit when you like hit people too, with your.
Oh, with your melee, yeah. Like Resident Evil style.
Well, let's see.
You think you get it.
Dang it.
You're good, you're good. So the boss before the boss,
mm-hmm.
You can just stay in the middle of his circle and just like rack up your Vulcan. Like he aims and shoots around where you're standing.
Oh.
So your only concern is the two flying things. But you got this. You got plenty of lives.
Come on. There, finally. Well, it doesn't even matter. I mean, it's like I did so good leading up to him. No. I thought I had it. I got it. I got there without losing a life.
You got to do it one more time. On that boss before him, you can just like when the thing targets you, it just shoots around you. It doesn't shoot where you are. It shoots around you. So you can make your Vulcan get like really, really close.
Yeah.
Don't get too close, but get close, real close. And just be careful about the flying things.
Well, there's my Vulcan at the very beginning here.
Well, that's good. Go ahead and get reset, you know?
Yeah. That would be awesome to be able to finish this.
Bartman says that he wants a sticker for a Super Nintendo cartridge that says "Please rewind." That reminds me how back when I was a kid, a friend of mine, his dad was like just so baffled by like how can you start at the beginning of the game again without like rewinding it somehow? he just didn't understand like like how can the game reset like right away? Like, don't you have to rewind it?
Well, you know, they did call them Nintendo tapes.
Who called them that?
It was like parents called them Nintendo. You never heard that before? You never heard the term Nintendo tape?
Not that I remember.
Oh, are you serious?
I don't remember. I mean, maybe. I think they just called them Nintendo games. All right, come on, you got this.
It's like it's so stressful.
You got it.
So the Vulcan cannon, or not how the boss of this segment, the third segment, that's just like there to like pretty much just to like freak you out essentially.
I think so, yeah.
Ah, I lost a life.
You're fine, you've got plenty. You'll need them all.
I lost 2 lives.
You're fine.
It's boss time. There's Vulcan. I should have.
Oh, yeah, you can't get too carried away.
I know.
But see how you can just rack it up?
Yes.
So see, that's... Oh, are you going to get to have a little bit for the boss? Oh, it goes away between the screen. Shoot. But it did start you off with some meter.
Right.
But still, I mean, you don't need it. You've got them flashing without ever gaining it on the boss. So who needs it? Who needs it?
Come on, look out. Oh.
Got it. Got it. I'm fine.
My freaking heart is flying out of my chest right now. I did it! It was a melee too.
Oh, I told you it was that is definitely a heart pounding boss fight.
Whew.
For sure. It is, you know?
Yeah. Oh man. Look at that.
Good stuff.
Oh, you can see
right?
him flying away in the background. Man. That was pretty intense.
I told you. I told you. I told you.
Man. Now can I do that with without using a continue?
Might take a little work.
Oh, this ending music's pretty great too. It's really intense. You know, that is crazy, Natsume Atari. Like I don't understand like how that came to be.
When did that happen?
I don't know. Because wasn't it Activision Atari for a while? I mean, Activision, like, or was it? It wasn't Activision. It was somebody who was also like used the name Atari.
I don't know. Oh, you might not be getting the same ending we got. Maybe it's a no continues thing. I mean, since you have to be multiplayer with no continues. There's like a scene that has like all 4 characters on it.
Uh-huh.
There's like the wind is like blowing through their hair and clothes, and like Clint's shirt, like the way it moves just looks like it's come to life. And like the weird thing too is that like there's like some like his bicep looks like it's just like wriggling a little bit. It's really weird. It's really weird.
There's like a whole thing going on in the chat right now about like the noises that your chair makes when you move in it.
Oh. Is it my chair or your chair?
No, it's yours. When you move, it's like.
Are you sure it's mine?
Yeah.
I don't really hear it.
It's just the leather. Yeah, right, like that. Yeah. Tengo Project. Dream creator.
Atari in the early 2000s. Man, I forgot about Infogrames. You remember
It's actually Infogram.
Grom? I thought there was an E in it. Infograms? Infogram?
Yeah, but
I thought it was like
I believe that it's. No, when I was at E3 in 2001, I got called out. It's like, no, it's not Infogrames. It's Infogram.
Infograms. all I can remember is they released like this Mission Impossible game for N64 that wasn't very good. That's like the only thing that I know for sure they did.
Oh, I unlocked color E. Oh, single player hard mode has been unlocked because that was just easy.
Ah.
Easy is the default. When you hit start.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It starts on easy.
So there is a normal. It's not just easy then hard, right?
No, there's a normal as well. You know what's really cool about this game is the scan lines are really, really cool in this game.
Yeah, they're interesting because when you get to like the last 2 ticks of it, you probably won't be able to see it very well on the stream, but when you get to the last 2 ticks of the scan line, it adds this like chromatic aberration.
Yeah. Where it kind of blurs it, and it there's like a I can't think of the word.
A little bit of a red and blue sort of.
Yeah, that kind of comes. Yeah.
The chromatic aberration. The aspect ratio is also interesting. It's not a smooth scale, so you get that non-integer effect. But since the game doesn't really have hardly any horizontal scrolling at all, I think it's fine. So I use the 112 wide, which is the default. If you shrink it to 100, it's got that perfect integer scale, but the the sprites look a little too skinny to me.
In this?
In Wild Guns, if you have the 100 wide.
Oh, I didn't even.
But the
look at it.
112 wide is the default, and it's non-integer. You've got a few wider pixel columns, but in general, I feel like it makes the sprites look more like the correct size.
So there's 2 new levels in this, correct?
I forget if it's 1 or 2.
Well, no, it's saying here, it says there's an underground and a battle in the sky.
Oh yeah. I remember seeing that in the trophy list. No, I never saw the battle in the sky. That sounds like awesome, right? Lurking underground. Yeah, the underground. That's like the horror level, and the boss on that level is insane. Like really, really hard. Like we never quite figured him out. Like basically our strategy was one person dumps all of their bombs on the boss, and we just never even really figured out his pattern because he was really difficult. I don't know how you unlock like different colors for the characters. Maybe you unlock
different difficulty levels.
Did you get any for being it on easy? Because
Yeah,
I don't think I unlocked anything doing it on multiplayer.
Yeah, I unlocked color E. Let's see what it is really quick.
Oh, you got 88% of the trophies in Firewatch.
It just naturally happens. It was a good game. I mean, it's more of a, like a walking simulator, if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah,
but it's just a really cool world.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I got I got the limited run of it, but since it released so close to Christmas, like I was afraid of it like arriving at home when I wouldn't be here, so I set the address for my parents' house.
Mm-hmm.
And ended up coming after Christmas, so it's still there. I'm probably going to go there in a couple of weeks and pick it up then.
So color E is like kind of a crimson for her.
Oh, okay. I don't see it yet. Did you only unlock a color for her?
Yeah.
Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah, I like it. All right. We went pretty late tonight. It's okay though.
That's fun.
Okay. So as we said earlier, we're gonna have a little something different next week.
Yep. The going to be a giveaway with the 2-Player Productions guys for a box copy of Broken Age, signed by the
like the entire development team, pretty much.
By the development team, yeah. The
only 8 different places are doing it. I believe that Hardcore Gaming 101 is doing something with it. And a few other people. But the whole idea behind it is that next week they're trying to kind of make a big push to get people to recommend or to contact Netflix so they'll add their the Broken Age documentary that they did to Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's going to be part of the thing. Is like you're going to have to submit just. It doesn't require email or address or anything. You just type it in, press enter.
Yep.
It's 2 seconds.
And so during the stream, you'll need to take a screenshot of that also includes your YouTube username in the screenshot and just send it to them.
Yeah.
During the stream, and you'll be entered into the drawing.
Yeah. But I mean, we'll go into it all
some
more.
Other prizes, but yeah, we'll go over it at the time. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Be a little different.
It'd be really different. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Good night.